breakfast.
Today we're at another stop on the stroll through historic Rockport. This is the Smith-Brundrett house at 901 North Austin. It is in Live Oak Heights addition, but really in what we call Old Rockport. This house at 901 North Austin has been home to members of 4 different families who were important in the history of our area. William Henry Smith, W.H., was the grandson of Refugio pioneer John Hines, spelled H-Y-N-E-S. His Smith grandparents were related to Henry Smith, Texas governor and father of Harriet Fulton of the Fulton Mansion. Fred Brundrett was the 3rd generation of a family that first came to this area in 1845. His mother was part of the Bloodworth family, early settlers living on St. Joseph's Island before the Civil War, and they were prominent in shipbuilding, especially from the 1880s to the early 1900s. The house is 110 years old or more. It's a frame bungalow built around 1903 to 1910 with a half-acre lot and giant live oaks in the north side yard. Its transitional style blends cottage simplicity with craftsman elements. The wide front porch is approached by steps rather than the ground level cottage style. It has a small front attic dormer window. A detached garage of 572 square feet was added in 1970. The first owner we're going to talk about is William Henry W.H. Smith. He and his twin brother were born in 1879, and he bought the house in 1920. His father was Major Samuel H. Smith, who had 4 years service in the Confederate Army, and after the war he moved his family from B County to Rockport in 1867. He was the mayor of Rockport in 1872 and again in 1884. The mother of W.H. Smith was Clara Hines, H-Y-N-E-S, the daughter of Judge John Hines of Hines Bay in Refugio County. He had come to that area in 1836, one of the first white settlers there. W.H. Smith raised his young family in this house. He was a county tax assessor when he bought the house in 1920. And during the Depression days in the 1930s, he was proprietor of a moving picture show. In 1934, the house was bought by John Frederick Fred Brundrett and his wife Elizabeth Valentine Drake, called Beth. Fred was a rancher and a cattleman. He was the second son and one of 10 children born to his father, George Albert Brundrett Jr., and his second wife, Flavilla Madden. Fred's father died in 1920, and Fred lived in his mother's household as a single man until he married Beth in 1931. Fred and his brothers worked as stockmen on their father's ranch. During World War I, they contracted to deliver horses to the U.S. Army in San Antonio. Shortly after they sold the horses, a recruiting sergeant rounded up the 2 middle boys, Fred and Oliver, and pressed them into service. The house passed to Fred Brundrett in 1934, and he moved his cattle and ranching operations to the backside of the peninsula in the area along Port Bay. Fred and Beth Brundrett were devoted members of First Presbyterian Church in Rockport. They had no children. A good portion of their fortune was given to the church. They paid to build the manse in a local subdivision. They bought the land behind the church, which had an older house and a business on it. They built a parking lot. They bought a van. They provided cushions for the pews. And finally, they willed a tenth of their estates to the church. As a deacon and an elder, Beth taught Sunday school and sang in the choir. They even made the communion wafers and provided grape juice for the sacrament for years. The Brundretts would remain in this house for 53 years until Fred Brundrett's death November 30th, 1987 at age 99. Beth had passed in 1979. From 1994 to 2018, Irishman Peter Murray and his wife Karen owned the house. They maintained the house in excellent condition. They added a low white picket fence across the front, which matches the original cedar picket fence on the south side. The current owner is Patrick McDavid.